All right, in this episode, I am going to be humbled for thinking that I was the hardest working athlete on the planet. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Sea and Land Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Michael Sahno. This podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. Head on over to www.sandlfit.com and pick up some hats and stuff like that. But that is not the most important reason why I've got you guys in front of me today. Today, I have an esteemed guest, a senior for Florida Gators softball, Avery Goelz. Avery, welcome to the show. What's going on? How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. Good.
No, it's wonderful. I'm really excited. I am super excited. And before we get too far into the interview, so when I was researching players, so I have a very non-scientific way of doing it. So I'll go down the list, basically. And you were at the top of the list. Avery was did you know that on the roster, on the website, you were the top one on the roster? And yeah, you did. Okay. So I went and I clicked on it and I was like, oh, wow, she looks awesome. I'd love to have her on, but she's got this like serious John Wick face going on where she's like holding the bat and she's like, and then, so there's an Instagram link. So I went and checked out the Instagram link. Total opposite. It's like going to SpongeBob's Instagram because you are just smiling from ear to ear. So that is so tremendous. Wow. Welcome to the show. With that,
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your position. I already said you're a senior, but tell us about yourself.
Okay. Well, I will say I was at the top of the list because my number's 2. That's the only reason I was up there. So it wasn't any other reason, but so I play first base and outfield. I'm left-handed hitting and throwing.
Oh, wow.
I would just say in the past, my sister played for Florida softball. She just graduated last year.
Okay.
So it was really big in our family.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. We'll talk about your family because then I went and put in you are like a ghost on the internet. So you look up other softball players and you can find all this stuff about them, ESPN this, yada, yada, yada. You're kind of under the radar. Why is that?
One thing is I'm not super big into social media. There's like a couple of times where I kind of would post a lot more, but I kind of try to stay off of it for the most part. It's just my own preference. I mean, I'll like check up on people, but other than that, I don't really use it as much.
That's a safe bet though. And with being an athlete and a public figure, that's probably a good thing. You're probably like a coach's dream, right? As far as social media.
I don't know. I mean, our coach is okay with it, especially with the NIL stuff. He kind of wants us to try to find new opportunities. So
Coach Walton has really bought into that. That's cool. That's really good. I watched, and it's not your year when you were there, but I watched the program. Have you seen it?
Oh,
with the 3 episodes? No, on YouTube. And I can't remember, it's SF or something like that, softball something. But it goes over and it does an expose on the Florida Gators. And there's a lot of your coach. So what's your relationship with the coach like? How was that?
Oh, it's good.
Because that'll feed into how you wound up there.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to be around. He's really good at motivating us and just the way he runs his practices. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I heard they're like mini boot camps, and they are. You got. He's. What did he say? I don't want them to fear games. I want them to fear practice.
I mean, he does do a lot of stuff in practice that makes it almost like more pressure than you'd have in a game. So it kind of like makes it so the game wouldn't be as much pressure for you because it's like, well, I did that in practice already. So,
No, that's excellent. That's a great
hmm
philosophy. Now you are from. So the thing that I did find on YouTube had pretty much your entire family in it. It was before you were before you were not drafted, um, signed to
committed.
play for committed. That's the word. Yes. Um, before you were committed, and it has your dad who was a major league baseball player,
He played
and
college baseball.
he played college baseball. Okay, well, tell him I gave him a promotion.
I'll let him
Um,
know.
And tell him I'd love to have him on the show, him and your mom, because I
Okay.
guess your mom's also a college softball
Yes.
alum.
hmm
So yeah, big shoes to fill. Wow. And your sister, who
hmm
was, where did she play before? Not that this is at all about, this is about you. Don't
Oh,
worry.
yeah, I have no
But
problem talking about them.
all right, good,
um,
good, good.
my sister played at Mississippi State for 2 years, and she
Hmm.
actually redshirted 1 year because she got hurt, and then she transferred to UF.
Go Gators. I'm a little kind of, yeah, there's a couple. I
I
even have a
see
Gator softball up in the top. So I'm representing everyone.
you.
Um, so from that video is why the intro was the way it was, because I'm a baseball fanatic. So I was in the military for 10 years and did all kinds of stuff. Um, and never really got to follow the path of baseball. And then my eyesight kind of went, and I got this eye surgery. And um, very recently, within the past year, I got I got a GT, one of the really nice GT tees, the Pro tees.
hmm
And I go into the backyard and I hit balls against the barn. And my wife says, like, what are you, a professional t-ball player now? And no, I'm not. But I'm out there a lot. And I think that, my work ethic is pretty intense. But then I watched the video, and apparently you guys were out there. Do I have this right? You guys were out there till dark. And then anything your sister did, you had to do. So, like, what's your training like? I mean, prior to even getting to Florida.
Okay, so before I was at Florida, it would be a lot of like travel practice was Monday, Wednesday. Like Monday was normally hitting, and then Wednesday was our team practice. And that was just like mainly because you couldn't really get everyone together every day just because we didn't all live in the same area, but we were pretty close. But so every other day, it was pretty much like what we wanted to do. I'm really lucky. We called it the barn. We still have it, but it had a batting cage in there.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, it was super nice. So I got to hit whenever I wanted to. And then field wasn't too far away. So my sister was always big on the field work. I was more like, I just want to hit. So that's how I got out to the field a lot is because of her. So that's kind of how like we got going every day.
No, that's excellent. That's awesome. Like, and you played for Lakewood Ranch, which is down. Where is that? That's in Clearwater or near
No,
Clearwater, Tampa area.
it's closer to Sarasota, Bradenton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like there's a community now. It's called Lakewood Ranch, so it's growing. So like, some people know it, some people don't. But
No, that's okay. My brother, my dad, and my aunt, they all live in Clearwater.
mhm.
And yeah, so when I heard Lakewood Ranch, but now it says I read your, and I'm probably gonna slaughter this. You're from Mayaca City. Is that a real
Close.
like? Oh, I really So I did get it wrong.
Mayaka.
That's
Yeah.
a
You were
Mayaka.
really, really close. Really close.
Oh my gosh. Where the heck is that?
It's just it's east of Bradenton. It's like it's a small town. It's more like farms, but I wouldn't say I live. It's more like country, but I live in a neighborhood in the country. So we
Got it.
have like 6 acres and it's really
Oh
nice.
yeah, it's like the suburbs. 6 acres. Jeez, man, that's awesome. How many fields can you put out there? Um,
It's a great question. We have a wiffle ball field.
that is great. Um, so all right. So when and how did you get into softball? And was that the only thing that you were into? Did you play any other sports?
Okay. I mean, softball kind of, I was just raised on it. I mean, my mom played softball, my dad plays baseball. So it's kind of like from a young age. I mean, I didn't play t-ball, so I probably started actually on a team when I was like 7
Oh wow.
and played from there on out. I mean, growing up, I played, I mean, I did gymnastics, I did soccer for a while, I ran track.
Jeez.
Um, Basketball one season, that really wasn't my thing. I tried golf. Like I did a lot of things, but I really settled it on softball pretty young.
Oh man. Yeah, I played football for 1 month. And then the first game we had, the ball was snapped. I ran the wrong way. My dad left the game. True story. And then after I was looking for him and he said it was so bad I just had to leave. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I kind of yeah, you had a much more supportive athletic upbringing than I did. So that
I'm
is
sure there
so
were
cool
times,
though.
yeah, I'm sure there were times my parents wanted to leave, but they stayed.
Yeah, so I had a bus to go home. You were probably they were probably your ride. So
Yes.
there you go. Um, so when did you? And I know your family is baseball and softball. Was there always sort of the funnel that brought it down into you specializing in that sport?
Yeah, I would say so. It was just kind of something that we were both good at from a young
Okay.
age, and I think that's kind of why we stuck with it. And I just really enjoyed the game, and it's always like it's fun to enjoy when you're good at it. So I think that's kind of why.
No, definitely. Now, that piece that came out on YouTube, that was when you were in high school.
Mhm.
Now, what was that like? So you're in high school. Yeah, there's social media and people are becoming not necessarily famous, but some posts that individuals in your class had, would have hey, did you see what so and so did? But nothing probably like unless they were an athlete who was being looked at, nothing like what that video probably produced visibly in high school. What was the pressure of something like that? And how did you deal with something like that?
I'm sorry. Can you ask that again? I had a phone call, and it
That's
kind of like
okay.
blocked you from me.
No, no, that's okay. So in high school, popularity is paramount.
Yes.
Whether you buy into that or not. Um, and people are on social media, want people to see their posts. And then something like what you had comes out on YouTube where people come specifically to see Avery Goelz and talk about her successes. Did you feel like that put a lot of pressure on you? Was that something you could just put to the back of your mind as noise? What was that like socially?
I would say,
Didn't expect that one, did you?
yeah, it's a good one. Um, I would say it kind of sometimes made me a little uncomfortable getting that kind of attention when I'm not huge on that. Like, I'd rather just play, and you can talk about it like outside of me being there. But it
Mhm.
was a really cool experience. It was just kind of weird, having a camera on you at a team practice when it's more like, okay, get everyone. Don't just put it on me. Like,
No, definitely. Were your parents helpful? Because it seems like your parents are really grounded and down to earth. Were
Hmm.
they helpful in you dealing with with that kind of stuff?
Definitely. If it was something that I was uncomfortable with, they would, especially like going through the recruiting process and anything where I had an interview, like they were always there, like right behind my shoulder, making sure that I was comfortable with it and giving me advice going through it to make sure I didn't like say the wrong thing or be too nervous about it going into it.
No, that's excellent. Now, speaking of that recruiting process, how did that go? Why did you choose Florida? Were there other offers?
Hmm.
I can probably imagine why you chose Florida. Go Gators.
Yeah.
We're part of a cult. Dude, we are part of a cult. It's so creepy sometimes because, like, people will write this thing, make sure that you replace all the toilet paper in all the bathrooms. Sincerely, so and so, go Gators. And it's like, why is that there? We're in a
Hmm.
cult. We're totally in a cult. But how did you make that decision about going to the Gators? What other offers did you have? And yeah, how did your parents help you? How did you deal with the process, and how did your parents help you deal with that process?
Hmm. I'll try to summarize this, but like quick side story. Growing up, I was a Florida State fan. Like I was
Oh my
a
gosh!
yeah.
Sorry. Hi. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with Gator stuff, but this is like I'm like 8. So I like
It's
chose that.
okay.
That was what where I wanted to go. And so going through the process, I mean, I did have other offers. I was interested in Florida State and like I still think that they're great people there. I came here, I fell in love with the environment. I went to like a couple of football games and I was like, wow, like the swamp is legit. Like this is a really cool place to be for a football game. And then just getting to meet all the players at the time that were there and Coach Walton, and at the time there was other assistant coaches, but I really love the environment and I was like this is where I want to go. I like told my dad on like one of my visits here. I was like, "Dad, I want to go here. Like this is the place I want to be."
Oh, that's so awesome. And how was the interaction? Did the University of Florida feel the same way?
Mhm.
Was there some convincing that had to be done? Where did they see you in their roster? Did they see you as a good addition or someone who was going to lead the team? Sort of, what did they see for you at Florida?
So, I was pretty young when I committed. I was a freshman in high school. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, I was pretty young. I think definitely saw me just being on the field all the time because I was a really good hitter. Well, I am a really good hitter, and uh,
Ah,
I
the
think
good
that
old days.
yeah, I think he just really saw me making an impact here. And I will say, like going through the process, I did open myself up to schools. Like I wasn't just like Florida State. Like once I came here, I kind of like was more open to, I was like, okay, do I really have to go to Florida State? No. Like I can be a Gator. Like there's not too much of like a I have to go to Florida State.
No, no, I get that. Okay. Now you've committed, you've gone to the swamp, you've seen the intensity of the swamp. You had most likely gone to a couple of softball games, and you probably found that that intensity isn't just at the football games.
Correct.
It's across the program. Um, I'm sure the badminton team has some rabid fans. Um, what was it like with the pressure of stepping up to that next level?
Mhm.
How did you deal with that? Were the psychological skills and tools that you used to prepare for games in high school, which was at a high level, if you look at it nationally, what was it like then stepping up? Were you able to use that, or were you able to use those tools, or did you have to adopt an entirely new skill set
Mhm.
mentally?
I will say Um, a couple of things I had to adjust with was going in as a freshman, they had all the like COVID people coming back. So I was
Mm-hmm.
an 18-year-old going and playing with a 23-year-old. And like
Oh
if you
wow.
look at that, they're like two different like aspects of your life. Like they're like a lot more mature, and I'm just a little kid that kind of came in. So that was a little bit of an adjustment because it was kind of like trying to figure out how to talk to someone that old and relate to them in some way because they're your teammate now. They're like your sister. You got to play on the field with them. And then going from um I would say the crowd didn't really make a difference to me because I've always been pretty good at like zoning that out, or if I do hear something, I'm using it as motivation. I
Okay.
will say in moments of failure, that's where I kind of had to adjust because I was having a little bit more of it than I was used to. And we had a lot more games than I did in high school. And in travel ball, you had games, but you'd be off for like the week and then you go play again on the weekend. So I had time to kind of like mentally reset myself, go work in the cages and get myself feeling good again. Whereas I could have a bad game and I'm playing the next day and I got to get over it. Like right now, there's not really much you can do. And just kind of like mentally be strong through it. And I think that's where I had to make an adjustment because I was focusing on my failure a little bit too much and it was affecting my play because my confidence was going down.
Who helped you get through that? Who helped you deal with those anxieties over fear of failure?
I'll say Coach Walton did help me with it and Coach Thomas, and then just big on my family. Like my like dad and
Excellent.
my mom and my sister were just there for me, just kind of like reminding me of who I was and what I've done and like you're not going to lose that. This is who you are and just trying to help me get my confidence back up and get through it.
No, that's great. Reinforcing that you deserve to be there.
Mhm.
That basically. Um, all right, that's awesome. Um, Now out of all of that, and it doesn't have to be a collegiate moment, but what is your most memorable and impactful moment playing sports? What's the one that pops into your head?
I have one where I was watching and it was just like a really big like heartfelt moment for me. So, it was my sister's team. I was playing on it, but I was kind of more like I was like a 12-year-old playing just to help them out. So I was more of like a pinch runner, maybe like a late hitter in the game kind of thing. And it was a
Mm-hmm.
national championship game
Wow.
and 0-0 and my sister was up. There was a runner on third and she got the hit that scored the run that made them win the national championship 1-0. And so just being her sister, sit like watching that happen, like just so much like joy and like how proud of her I was just to be there and like be on her team for that moment. It was really like really special to me.
You are literally one of the most beautiful people I have ever spoken to because most people would have adopted a moment that was about them. And that was the most selfless thing I have ever heard. You are such a rock star.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Um your folks are blessed to have you as their child. That's so great. Oh man, your sister is such a piece of garbage compared to you.
Oh no
No,
no
I'm
no
just
no!
kidding. No, 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 no. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No,
You talk to her.
I'm trying to antagonize that sibling rivalry.
No,
Just
you talk
kidding.
to her.
Just kidding.
Everyone
Yeah.
else would disagree. She is like a gift from God. She's the perfect person.
Oh my gosh. All right, that is awesome. There's only one more thing that I really want to cover, and that is what do you do? What's your training regimen? Um, what's your training diet? And I'm not trying to pick it apart or anything
Mhm.
like that. I'm just trying to give people, hopefully people who watch this as an inspiration, examples of things that they can do. What's your rest recovery cycle, and where did you get all this information from?
Okay. Um, I'll say here we have a workout program, so that's kind of where I based a lot of it on. It's just going to weights, going to a run. And there'll be times where if it was like an arm day, I'll go out and run on my own just because I enjoy running. I know a lot of people don't, but I find it very like I come back after it just feeling really good with my body. And then outside of like season, I would go to workout places and they have like a plan for me. And that's kind of what I would do then, just to make sure my body stays in shape. And maybe if I have any like lagging injuries, get some recovery on that. And then interesting, I have a Whoop. It's Whoop
Oh
promotion.
my God. Yeah, yeah. All right, there you go.
And that's where
There's
I
a
kind of,
plug. Shameless plug right there.
yeah, this is where I look at my recovery and just seeing if I need to get more sleep and how much strain I put on my body that day. So that kind of helps me, which I almost treat it as a competition because even like some of my teammates, we have like a little community group. So I can see their
Hmm.
strain, I can see their sleep, and they like put it in rankings. So it's like, okay, well, I want to be first. So maybe I need to run a little bit farther to get my strain up, or I need to go to
Oh
sleep
my
earlier.
gosh.
Yeah, and then I will say, like, for my diet, I'm
Hmm.
someone that kind of just, I need to keep putting on weight. So I'm a little bit more of, I kind of just eat what I want to eat just to try to like get my weight up. And then if it's
I hate your
comfortable,
guts so much.
it'll
My
go away.
son, I have a 19-year-old son. He's also at the University of Florida and he goes remotely. You too, man. What is it? I eat something and it's like my wife will come over and go, yeah, wow. Thought about exercising at all? Thank you, dear. Love you. But you two, I mean, geez, it's so well, your dad's skinny. I saw from the video. So, man, go on. I'm sorry. You can eat
Uh,
whatever you want.
well, yes, I still am pretty like aware of what I put into my body. I don't just go eat like 3 burgers a day. Like if I'm eating a burger, I'll try to eat something a little bit healthier for like lunch or dinner, depending on how it is. And then even like I try to drink plenty of water. I don't
Hmm.
really drink soda just because I don't really think it benefits me. Um, Started drinking tea because I really enjoy tea. And then
So
I'm
does
big on
my son.
coffee. So coffee's like every
Oh,
morning. So
yeah,
exactly.
it's like 7 o'clock at night, and I'm chugging coffee.
Yeah,
So
so I don't know if you
yeah.
can be a college athlete and not drink coffee, but
Oh my gosh. And I'm Spanish, and so I'll go out and like exercise. And my friend, he's Puerto Rican, and he's like, "Wow, you really are a Hispanic athlete." And I'm like, "Why? You're working out and you have a big cup of coffee." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, thanks."
one of my
You're
teammates did that.
Hispanic too. Yeah, so yeah.
You're not
They do it
alone.
too?
Yeah.
Yes, good. That's awesome. And all this guidance, this has just been guidance that's built up over the years that you've gotten from coaches, family, and all that.
We also have a nutritionist who will help us out too. Like he will go through like every year kind of like a baseline of what we should be eating and just getting an idea on like how much water we are supposed to be drinking every day and like how much
Okay.
protein, how many fats. So we get an idea and that's really helpful. And then the rest of it's kind of just like what I feel like my body needs and just like some of the stuff that I've looked up and kind of decided that I think this would be good for me. And
Well, it's funny because there are really weird things that your body does. Like, I know if I need, like, I'll have weird cravings. Okay, I need a burger, or okay, I need pizza. And the pizza is because I either need carbs or the lycopene from the tomatoes. And I'm like, where's a banana? I need a banana. And it's because I need potassium or something like that. So you start to key in it on what all those things are. Um, that's awesome. This has been great. This has been a great talk. Do you have anything else that you'd like to tell the audience, your family, people, anyone who's going to watch this?
um, this was a
I
question
don't
that I
want to
wasn't
put you on the
prepared for.
spot. Yeah, right.
um,
Well,
I would
hold
just say,
on. Oh, go on. All
I would
right,
just
you
say
got
like
it.
everyone has their own like thing. Everyone has their own way their body works. So like just because I say something doesn't mean that anyone has to do it because it's really up to what your body feels like doing, and that's just where I've become comfortable with. So
That's excellent. That's the best advice. Avery, this has been an incredible pleasure. Thank you so much. And if you need anything, reach out. And to everyone else out there, Avery Goelz. Or Goelz. I did it! Damn
Got
it!
it.
I wasn't going to do that! Oh, Avery Goelz. All right, that's it. That's the whole episode, guys, including my mistake with her name. I am forever mortified. But that's the show. Check out www.sandlfit.com, and we'll see you next time. All right? Later.